afternoon, beautiful beings of light. Welcome to the Crone Zone Conversations with the Ancients. My name's Priscilla. This is my co host Heather, and today we're welcoming Valerie from Illumination Portal. Yay!
Yay.
Valerie's going to be here to tell us all about this strawberry full moon. Hi, Akila. How are you today?
Aw,
Thanks for joining us.
thank you for having me. I'm so excited because we're getting out of that. We've had a tough time last 3 years, and then we had this eclipse season with Taurus and Scorpio. We had our last, sorry about that, jets over my head.
You too? That's one
Yeah,
over our head. That one just went over our head.
I know. It's like,
Crazy.
okay.
Hi, Linda Day Gonzalez, Starfish. Lovely to see you, Teresa. Welcome. Hi, Perrette. Thanks everybody for being here. Hi, Suzanne.
They're such beautiful souls. Thank you.
I know.
Thank
Thank
you
you
for
guys
being
for joining us today. Can't
so
wait to learn more about this full moon.
me too. So we have cleared, like, our last full moon was that on May 5th, and it was a full moon in Scorpio, but it was an eclipse. It was the last Scorpio eclipse. Then fast forward a little bit to May 18th or 19th, we had a
So
new
that is
moon.
our last Scorpio eclipse.
Yeah,
Good.
for
Or
this
a
cycle.
Okay.
For this cycle, we
Good.
do have another Taurus eclipse coming up in the fall, but
Okay.
this cycle, yeah. So, but with that Scorpio Taurus,
Tomorrow, Starfish.
what is
When's tomorrow? The
oh
June's full moon. Tomorrow.
at
It's happening right now. We're
11:43,
being affected for
yeah,
sure.
11:43 p.m. tomorrow. So tomorrow night on the
11:43.
East Coast. On
Okay.
Yeah, so this is because okay, we had the full moon eclipse in Scorpio. Then we had the new moon in Taurus. Now this is the next full moon in Sagittarius. Taurus gave us a lot of energy. There's still a lot of planets there that are helping us focus on where it is we want to create, where we want to go forward. How are we going to do that? Taurus doesn't move very fast. So as soon as we came into Gemini season, our minds were on it, right? We're getting all these downloads, all this information. Um, this is a spiritual channel, so I'm mostly talking about the spiritual aspects of all this, which to me is everybody, but we're focusing on it, which is
Yeah.
important here because we've been clearing all this past, could be past lifetimes of stuff.
Yeah.
And I'm just talking about the last 3 years, but you can take this back years if you want to. But so with this being a Sagittarius full moon, this is also releasing. We're still releasing. We should still be doing our releasing ceremonies, making our list, burn
Mhm.
that list tonight because it's very powerful energy, and make the list of your intentions going into the future. Now, Sagittarius is a fire sign. He wants to go. He has his arrow pointed. And we're in Gemini season, so our minds are going, a million miles
A
a
mile a
second.
minute for sure.
Yeah, but we really need to think it through before we act. You want to get that releasing out. If you've already have things, projects in the works and plans, of course, just build on those. But um, this is still just coming out of the gate of these eclipses. And I know I keep talking about that, but it was really important that Scorpio is helping us remove this stuff out for good. If you really do it right, you can release a lot of trauma, a lot of beliefs that don't longer serve you anymore. But then take your focus, give it an honor, give it a ceremony, and release it in love, and then work on your intentions. Now, this is something we should do every new moon and full moon. Full moons are for releasing because the planets are opposing. So we have Sagittarius, Jupiter rules Sagittarius, and we have Gemini in and Mercury rules Gemini. So we got the information. We're getting a lot of information, but we really got to hone in on. So how do we do that? I see you, starfish. You got to go into your heart, because your heart is the only one that knows your dreams and wishes. Really. Um,
That's right. Everything has to come from your heart. The
yeah,
releasing has to come from your heart,
yeah.
full on board, letting that stuff go. And then when you're writing out your expectation or your manifestation dreams, it's the same way. You have to think with your heart.
Mhm.
Get out of this.
Right. And see, the heart knows all the answers, but it's quiet because the mind and the ego are constantly da 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 da. The mind and
Mine
the
is.
ego have to work for the heart, though. This is the proper order of control. The heart is our king or our queen. Everybody works for that, and you'll know when you hit something right that the heart wants by how you feel about it. Your feelings are your radar system.
I
you
just
know
love that. We've had this our radar system for our entire lives and told not to pay any attention to it until you start going into spirituality, and our emotions are everything. Our
exactly.
feelings are everything.
It's so true. And if we, it, so that coincides with the beliefs that we have to release, because that is a false belief. It's
Hmm.
false to not pay attention to your feelings. But a lot of people don't they don't understand how important that is. I
Hmm.
just got shivers when I was saying to you that order of importance, right? Because my body resonated with that as true.
Right.
And I think it's true for all of us. I don't think it's just something that's true for me. So, but it took me a long time to reprogram my mind and ego.
Absolutely, it does.
Yeah, it's not
You have
easy.
to work at it every day when you're having a strong feeling. Maybe not to react to the strong feelings like we used to,
Right.
but to have a look at that feeling. Why am I feeling that
Right.
way? What does this mean? And what does it have to do with this over here? Or, analyzing those things. And yeah.
Absolutely. And that's the only way to get to the
Hmm.
bottom of it, to look
Yeah.
at it, to see it for what it really, really is. What is that feeling saying to us? Why do I have this belief that my feelings don't matter, for instance?
Yeah.
You got to really look at that and say, where did I learn that? So you go down those rabbit holes with that. But every time you do, and you look at it, and you do it as like an observer.
Yes,
You don't,
exactly.
yeah, you don't want to get wrapped up in all the
Not
pain.
not reactionary. You don't want to be reactionary. You want to be able to think rationally and to see it from a different perspective than you used to.
Mhm.
And I've watched that change in me over the last 3 years.
Me too.
I'm still a reactive person, but nothing like I used to be. I can actually, whoa, for a minute, step back and look at things.
Yeah, and that has been pretty much the message from the
Hmm.
Scorpio, Taurus nodes, and the Scorpio South node, sorry, Taurus North node. They've
And
been helping us.
because I'm Scorpio and that Taurus is my ascendant, they've been kicking my ass. They
Mhm.
have been bringing up stuff after stuff after stuff, just
Yeah. And that
ridiculously over the last few months.
and
I'm
that
glad to
is
see them go away. I mean, I've
that,
released a lot, but it's been a lot of work, hard work.
and it is. And you have to, when we look at it, and it can do it from a compassionate point of view. If we would have known
Hmm.
better, we would have done better, right?
Exactly. Hmm.
So here we are going at our age, or whatever age you are, it doesn't really matter, saying, "Oh my goodness, I've been handling my whole life wrong," and this goes also in the big picture of humanity. How humanity is run is is not in integrity, and
Right.
that Scorpio South Node is going to make sure that that gets exposed, so we can
Hmm.
all see it and all look at it.
Hmm.
And it's infuriating, and it can piss you off, but you got to work through all that because it
Yeah,
is it
exactly.
isn't you. Your life and your reality come from your perception. And if we can get our perceptions to where, hey, I can look at emotions and I can do it in a rational, mature manner, and work through it with love, send it away,
Right.
release it in love, then I'm already ahead of the game, a lot
Exactly.
further than I was most of my life.
Exactly. 1 year ago, 5 years ago, 50 years ago. Oh yeah, I'm doing much better.
Yeah,
And that's kind of the point. That's why
yeah,
we forget everything when we come here.
yeah.
It's
And then,
Yeah.
learning.
and
So we can learn.
right, and then we get this. Hello, it's time to awaken, the spiritual awakening, and you're like, oh my God, I just went crazy. You know how that is. We've all worked through all these
I
details.
do.
And thankfully, we found like minded people that understand when we
I
have
know.
these conversations and say, oh my God, really take a breath right now and give yourself a hug. Pat yourself on the back. We've been through a
All
lot.
of you in the chat too.
Yeah, that's what I
Yeah.
mean. All of us. It's been challenging to say the least. Now, doesn't mean because we're in a full moon in Sagittarius that okay, life is all better right now. We're still going to be releasing probably until we're no longer in our current form. But the thing is, we can create our reality, that perception to be more enjoyable, to be, what, all that stuff can go
More in
crazy.
line with our heart.
Right. And whatever they're doing out there and trying to blow up the world, whatever they're doing today, doesn't really affect me. What affects me is where I'm sitting in my vicinity with my pets and talking to you all about how to move forward now in these energies, because Sagittarius again is a fire sign. It wants to go. Got all the information. Gemini keeps telling it more information, and it's all excited because we really haven't had that space to go because we've been like stuck in the mud for a couple of years.
Yeah.
So we're all working. I feel like we're all working on our passions and our projects and the things that do make our heart smile.
Yeah. Exactly.
So um, we have and on the fourth or fourth, Venus is going into Leo. Mars
Yeah,
is
I saw
already
that.
in Leo.
Yeah.
So
What does
Mars.
it mean when Venus goes into Leo?
Well, let me talk about Mars and Leo. Mars
Okay.
was stuck in Gemini for 7 months. Then he moved into Cancer and he was in his feelings. He was trying to process all the information he learned from Gemini and feel through where he wants to go, where he wants to act on, what he
Right.
wants to act on. Right. So he's just gotten in there. I think it's like at 7 degrees, maybe. And he's in fire sign. He can finally move. He can finally do something. So him and Sagittarius are like, yeah, Jupiter and Mars are like, yeah, let's go. But Venus right now is in the end of Cancer. So she's understanding her feelings and the things she loves and the things that bring her joy and the direction she wants to go. She's going to go into Leo in a couple of days, and there's Mars. They're going to work together. So think of it like this: like your divine masculine and your divine feminine are going
Right.
to actually work together to get you to that place that you are longing for, right?
Right.
So I think it's
That
really,
sounds good.
yeah, there's a lot of good stuff. And then we have, okay, so we talked about the South Node in Scorpio a lot, but the North Node is at 3 degrees Taurus. Well, the North Node is where are we headed, humanity, as a whole and as individuals. It's giving us the indicators. Okay, well, Taurus, we want to create something, we want to make something manifest here on earth that brings us joy, that it is in alignment with the things that that resonate with our heart.
Hmm.
So
Right.
he there and he, like I said, he's had a lot of planets. He still does planetary bodies in Taurus right now, giving us all these different ideas and ways to go forward. So at the moment, okay, so that south node is the things that we're used to doing, the old ways, the things that gotta go. Doesn't mean all the south node Scorpio stuff is bad. Scorpios really helps us see down into things on a molecular level. But that north node in Taurus is conjunct, meaning right next to Jupiter in Taurus. Now,
Oh,
Jupiter's going to be in Taurus for a year. And that is making all this even, I mean, bringing extra supportive energy to it, providing your
the
thinking.
integrity.
Yeah. Because if you're not, that Jupiter can bring a lot of energy to something and really show you how out of integrity you are too, right? So it's kind of that fire. But I know who I'm talking to here, and I know that most people here are heart-centered and soul-centered and
Yeah, for sure.
want to grow spiritually together. We're together. We finally found each other,
Yeah,
Yeah.
and it's
we did.
beautiful, isn't
Isn't
it?
it wonderful?
I mean, and we would have never even known that or found that unless we went through that last 6-7 years,
Hmm.
the pandemic, where we all
Yeah.
had to come online, and this is the only way we could communicate, and it really brought in amazing results. That we would have
It
never.
really did.
Yeah. So
Yeah, it changed my life in a lot of ways.
yeah. Yeah.
And for the better. For the better. Let's just say hi to Tracy Ralph and Bora Bora and Janet P. and Oil Painter. Hi, ladies. Thanks for being here. It's wonderful to have you. Yeah, pandemic, as bad as it was for so many people, it seems like for spiritual oriented folks, it actually benefited us in a lot of
Right.
ways.
It gave us time to do a lot of things.
a lot of shadow work, a lot
Mhm.
of learning, a lot of
Deep diving.
Yeah. And
we
we
spent. I
wouldn't-
don't know about you, but we spent
Most of our days.
watching the Gaia channel. Have you watched the stuff on Gaia? Have you ever watched
I,
Gaia?
well, I haven't, but I spent
We were
most
addicted.
of my days looking at YouTube channels that were
Well, we were on
like
Gaia and
everybody.
then followed closely by YouTube. And
Yeah.
that's how we got involved with you. Found everybody on YouTube.
Yeah. It was between the two, but the Gaia is what got us going. And
Yeah.
what got you actually channeling.
Yeah.
And that made a lot of difference.
Oh, cool. Yeah. And don't you feel like a lot of us our abilities, our skills and abilities, our psychic abilities started
Mine
coming
is-
online? It was just
That's exactly right.
fast and
Everything
furious.
started Coming online then.
Yeah.
And then you're getting the guides, the guidance to create a
Mhm.
channel. That's
Mhm.
what happened to me, or a lot of us. This is what
I
happened.
know
to us.
so many people out there. That's exactly what happened.
And there's also a lot of us where all that time was spent getting you ready to go online.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Because I didn't go online there,
Mm.
except for hearing the music, which is beginning again. But I wasn't going online at that point, and
What do you mean you weren't going online?
not like you. Like you could hear, and I didn't.
Oh, you mean the voices?
Right.
Okay. Okay.
So I was getting ready to go online. I wasn't
Mhm.
actually online. Whereas she was far enough along, she was ready.
Mm-hmm.
Crazy things were happening.
Yeah, yeah. And
Yeah,
that's
and that's, I think all of us went
everything
through that.
as this should have been.
Yeah, exactly. And it
Mhm.
was in divine timing. And okay, so look, we all grew to where we are today
Mhm.
Right.
to help the people coming behind us who are going to wake up.
That's
You
right.
know, we're
We're the
not
front
like,
line.
yeah, and we're not, it's not like a competition or anything. We're all on this journey, just different
Mm-mm.
parts of that journey, right? And people are going to need, like, I remember searching for this information in the 90s, and you couldn't find it. It was really hard to get anything on the intuition. If you went to the, like, the crystal stores and stuff, that's where I was always at. I had to find that information.
I was
Right.
in bookstores, regular bookstores.
And-
that big one where you could go sit down and they had like one tiny section of spirituality stuff.
Yeah.
And I'd be sitting in the chair just going insane reading. And
Yeah.
that's how I did it. Just major bookstores until we found the crystal shops. Until
Yeah.
there were crystal shops.
and then the bookstores actually were the stores to start with that had tarot cards and
Yeah.
Mhm.
I can't remember what they're called.
Oracle
Anyway, the
cards and
rocks.
stuff like that.
No,
The
the
crystal
rocks.
Runes.
Runes.
Oh, runes.
They had runes.
I remember that. I think
Yeah.
I had a set of runes back then. I didn't
Yeah.
know what to do with them, but I had them.
And wasn't that the fun part? Getting all the tools and exploring and experimenting with all the cards and the decks and the crystals and the runes.
Right.
Knowing absolutely nothing.
Corner of the bookstores, exactly.
That's exactly where it was, the corner of the bookstore.
Yeah.
Or there was one that was in Dallas that a friend of mine took me to, and it was like an old building and turrets and things, and it was many floors, but up on the top floor was the spiritual stuff and all the cards and the runes and other stuff that was there,
Mhm.
hidden off in the
Yeah.
top attic.
Yeah. It was always hidden somewhere.
Yeah. It was
Did you
always
see what
hidden.
Karen said 40 years ago? There
Yep.
was no information out
No.
there.
Right.
You got that right. I was at
Yep.
libraries looking, and then I found a psychic iBook store and met people there. That's awesome. Connected
Right.
to psychic fairs.
I did psychic fairs too. In fact, that's how I went to my first class. Was
How I met her.
Yeah.
Barnes and Noble. That's the one I went to.
Yeah, I was doing all the psychic, the crystal shops way back, and just you would read everybody, and it was, it was just so, it felt like home. It's like, oh my God, this is what I needed
Yeah.
to know, and I felt I couldn't get enough of it. I'm still do that every day. I'm in it.
Gypsy JJ, I had the same
sorry.
problem.
Hi, Tarot Stash. Welcome.
Hey.
I had the same problem.
It wasn't
Oh.
in my house. My dad
You
was
weren't
a past life regressionist.
You weren't so much shamed as being told outright, no, don't talk about that.
Yep.
Look at and Tarot Stash. All the good stuff was hidden in the corners and behind secret doors.
Yeah.
Exactly.
That's
Exactly.
exactly right.
It's like you don't have the credentials.
I didn't get to look for it until I was an adult out of the house.
And you're right,
Oh,
Karen. Now everyone can say the word psyche without people giving you that look. Or maybe
Exactly.
it's just the community we're around. I'm not
Maybe.
sure.
Yeah, there are still some groups you have to be careful about.
Well, it's becoming, everything is
More and
and
more
this is-
mainstream.
Yeah, and this is the thing. Everything is out in front of us. That's part of that Scorpio stuff. All that Scorpio South Node stuff. That's just the last few years. Just look at the last few years, how it's opened it up even more, where it's everybody's reading cards, getting psychic readings, or sound healing, whatever it is. Because
I give my grandkids readings for birthdays and stuff like
Yeah.
that with other psychics that I know. And I got to thinking about that. My grandmother would have died. She didn't know that I did that. My grandmother giving me a psychic reading for a present. I don't think so.
That's an idea. I wonder if I could get that past Scotty.
Your son.
my grandma,
Or my daughter-in-law for that matter.
my grandma would, when I was little, she had a regular, deck of playing cards, and she taught me how to read divination with the playing cards, with a deck of
Oh, that's
playing.
cool.
Yeah, she was really cool about it, but she didn't really. She had no judgment in her, and she wasn't a real talker. She was pretty much
Yeah.
to the point, and I never asked how she knew, or I was just listening because, you're with your grandma. Anything your grandma wants to do and show you something to do, you're going to do it,
Oh, absolutely. I adored my grandmother.
Yeah. So, but I wish I would have got into it more because then I would go back home. Not that my mom was against it, but it wasn't something that we were around,
Right.
it wasn't around. So it would come in and out of my life, all this stuff. But I
Hmm.
just, I think like we all do right now, we just feel like we found home. And that is so important. Now what do we want to create in our new home? And that's kind of what Sagittarius is giving us. Well, Gemini
Hmm.
is giving us ideas, right? And Sagittarius is giving us the fire to go create. And I don't know about everyone else, but the things that we're interested in, especially in this community, are detailed and they're unique to each individual. So
Absolutely.
it's not like I can say, oh, I'm just a psychic medium. There's more to it than that. There's
There's
more. I
always
don't
more.
have words for it. Does that make sense? Like,
Hmm.
I think we're creating new ways of being, new words on how to be, whatever that is. And I despise labels. Really, I'm not a big label person. But in this community, you have to, you have to have some sort of label. I don't want to say it like that.
But they keep evolving. The
Yeah,
labels keep evolving
Yeah,
yeah,
and they
because
keep changing
what a
because everything.
normal psychic did 20 years or 5 years ago, isn't it? Their gifts are much wider
right.
open wider now than they were five
Mhm.
years ago.
Yeah,
It's a whole new world, and each one of us, our gifts are just so different
Yeah.
and growing.
and growing. Like Heather and I have completely different gifts and completely different ways of receiving information, but
Mhm.
it's still the same information.
Right.
You
Mhm.
know,
Oh,
it's fascinating to watch how each person is evolving and learning to use their gifts.
Yeah.
so where were we?
What? Oh,
I,
yeah, the full moon.
where were we?
Well, this has a lot to do with the full moon, though, because this is how we are creating the new path forward.
The world we want.
Yeah, and this is every moon cycle. I'm just going to use the new moons and full moons. Okay, full moons we want to release, but you
Hmm.
can release and burn that paper and write the intentions on another paper. It just doesn't have to always be at this time of day. That's another thing. Like there's really no rules. There is, but there isn't. And we're incorporating that magical ability of using the energy around us and those energies coming into us to create these new paths, right? So when kind of like going forward, it's detailed. We're getting into the details now because we've been releasing. That's going to constantly go on. We're gonna like my intention list is pretty much the same one every month, and I'll add on to it or I'll tweak it a little bit,
Hmm.
But and my releasing is pretty much I feel a lot lighter than I used to.
Good. Yeah, mine is too.
Yeah.
But there's
So
still a good list.
yeah, it'll
I
never
have to
go.
write small on my paper.
And I mean, really, I don't know if it'll ever really all go away because of, we live on this dimension with
Yeah.
a lot of people on this dimension who aren't quite aware yet. But
Hmm.
at the same time, we live in that higher dimension, in that finer vibration where we know there's much more to this. And unless I go to focus on the tragedies in the world, I don't see them. And it's not because I want to just put blinders on. I know what's going on. I keep up to date, but
Exactly.
I don't want to live in that energy. It makes
It's
me
not in
nauseous.
my timeline. It's
No,
not in my timeline. I'm not interested in that kind of stuff.
right. So we know that we go in and out of these dimensions and timelines all throughout the day.
Hmm.
And
Yeah.
the more that you focus on these magical things, even being in the garden, planting seeds, plant your seeds, put your intentions into the seeds as you're putting them in the dirt. things like that is just.
I wish you told me that yesterday when I was planting seeds. That's really funny. I'll
it's so
remember that.
cool.
I'll do that in the future.
Yeah, I mean, it's all energy, and we're grounded. We're here on Mother Earth, where we are grounded into her energy. That energy comes up, and it's all magical. And we have our higher selves pouring energy and giving us intuition, and you know, oh my God, my higher self said just my higher self gives me everything. I don't really do anything without consulting my higher self.
Me
So
either.
and then it integrates together from earth, from heaven to earth, from heaven to earth, and I just keep cycling that through me, figuring, okay, I'll just, I know I'm staying on this path. I know I'm using the astrology. These are my specific things. But like I said, we all have different gifts and abilities that are coming online that we don't really have words to express. So that is I see that happening, I don't know, growing more in the future. So you see,
With all the energies
yeah.
coming in, it's going
Yeah.
to continue to grow. I
Yeah.
think we're on fast track now.
Yes.
I really think we're on a fast track. I mean, even the Earth spinning is increased, and time is
Which
going
raises its
faster.
velocity and our velocity.
Our velocity
frequencies.
and our frequencies, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So the information is being blasted at us 24/7. Again, look at the solar flares that we're having. That's energy, light, and information coming to our planet from the sun. And we're all absorbing it, and Mother Earth is absorbing it because we're part of her. So we're just going to keep getting more and more gifts.
Yeah.
As long as we stay in a receiving mode
Yeah.
and look at things with our heart
Yeah.
and love.
Yeah, because like I said, I think a lot of us have cleared, but whatever feels stuck and heavy to you, to work on that. It takes us to actively do it. It just doesn't, and
No,
I know
you can't bury it and it goes away forever. That's just hiding. It has to come to the light and be released.
right.
Yeah.
And that burying it makes you sick. I know I was very sick physically until I started to release things is when I felt better. I'm not saying that that's in every case, but I think a lot of people get.
I love this, Science is such a fast track that there are days I cannot speak because the thoughts are faster than my tongue. And weren't we just talking about that yesterday? How our words won't come correctly.
I really am struggling with that. I've been really struggling with that. But this Jupiter North Node in Taurus is on my third house, and that's Gemini, and it's your communication house, right? So I was but that conjunction just became exact yesterday.
Right.
That all that buildup and that energy was just like so much was coming in, and I was like, trying to express it, and my words were just gone. I couldn't even
because it's coming in so fast, we can't.
Yeah,
can't express it.
Yeah,
right. And you're right. All that energy and light is information coming in us. That's what energy is. And I don't think when we say that word, I know when I say it to people that aren't in this community, the energies, they think I'm just, what are you talking about? But I mean, the information, it's the information that, and they're, you see in just the last few years, the information that you've received, where we are today, as opposed to 3 years ago, is just, wow.
Night and day.
Yeah.
It really is.
And that using this right now, this Jupiter North Node conjunction in Taurus for the next couple of days, really detail your intentions down, because Jupiter will bring that to you as long as you're doing the work. And what's the work? The inner work, the stuff that sometimes, but I know if I do it, if I face it immediately, it goes away faster. It doesn't
True.
linger.
I
You
have
know?
noticed that myself
Yeah.
because I'm a procrastinator.
I don't know. I'm not allowed to be a procrastinator. They get me up. Okay. The first thing I was doing this morning was the superclusters, the attractors, because this is another interesting point. This
I love
Sagittarius full moon, the Sagittarius degree is 13 degrees. That degree is right next, 14 degrees is the great attractor. That is just massive amounts of galaxies and energy. You know, their superclusters are just
What does
massive
the great
amounts.
attractor do?
I think it really keeps our multiverse in a, because if science has kind of tracked it and it's got a shape. So it has all the galaxies, all the galaxies are in there, but there's millions of them, millions, billions. And it's just a transfer. This energy again is transferring in and out and in and out. So when I'm sorry, I'll tell you what I wrote down. They're superclusters. It's massive gravitational pulls of energy. So stuff comes in, stuff releases. It's, to me, it's spirit. It's holding it. If anyone can see the shape, the picture I put on my thumbnail for this, that's the great attractor. That's just part of it. It's even bigger, and it's these like globular shapes of.
It moves in a spiral, though. The shape was in a spiral from what I saw. I mean, there were globs here and there, but ultimately from Earth, it actually went out into a spiral. So it's like it's bringing us along and sucking us along with it, right?
Exactly. And it is. It's pulling our galaxy with it. We're going towards it. So, but that energy and that shape that of all those multiverses, all those galaxies just in that shape, it's almost like it's its own consciousness. It's this massive, I mean, I'm sure the creator is even bigger than that, but it's like another part of the creator that's given us the information we need and bringing us. Well, here's another thing: the precession of equinoxes. We have gone through this cycle, right? And we're at the end of this last age of Pisces.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going into the age of Aquarius.
Right.
Now we're kind of in the middle, open the doors. We're there, but no one can actually put a time on it because time like that doesn't really work in space. It is what it is. It's
because
coming.
There's no time.
Yeah.
There is no time and space.
Right. So, but it's close. We can feel it. We know that something's happening. All of us here can know about ascension. We know that something is elevating the vibration and frequency. So that to me, with that the precession of equinoxes, what we did a show on that too.
We did.
I did it with you all, and it was really fascinating because this is a significant part of time. We have too many ideas flowing in for it to just be random coincidence. We are evolving. We're leveling up. We are.
Just basic astrology will tell you that.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just out there in the planets. It's so amazingly obvious. I wish I knew more about astrology. Like you.
Okay,
Warrior Girl has a question. What's the difference between the great attractor and the galactic center?
Okay.
They're two different things, for one thing.
Yeah. And the galactic center, okay, that's at 27 degrees Sagittarius. The great attractor is at 14. And this is where we can see out into space. And it's like you see this big, huge line of stars, and that's the galactic center. We don't really get to see it much on the East Coast as they do on the West Coast, unfortunately. But the great attractor is, she's massive. It's just
It's way out there. I mean, it's like super far away from us and the galactic center. The galactic
Yeah,
center you see as part of it,
yeah.
like the Milky Way and all of that. We should have had a picture to show.
Well, I said it's kind of like that. That's what it does. It's like opens the door to the great attractor. When you can see the galactic center from Earth's point of view, it's giving you that, oh my God, look how vast space is, right? I have
Mhm.
it. I have the picture, but I have a couple of them.
Yeah,
Um,
you have some good ones.
it was on my thumbnail for this, but it is it's just layers of energy opening the first door into the second door into this wider space into this wider space, and it's, I don't even think there's words. Again, here comes
Oh,
words.
here, this kind of helps. It's way out there and it creates a vortex, bringing in the energies of the other universes.
That's what I was
Thank
trying
you for
to say.
saying that so succinctly.
Thank you, Diana. She's my buddy. She helps me out. But it's so
Sometimes it
it's
just takes somebody to reword what you know you're trying to
oh
say.
God.
Exactly.
It's so hard to put words to this stuff because it's even hard to grasp the massiveness of it all, of space, and what it's doing and what it's not doing. But we're in our local, okay, we have our solar system where our planets revolve around our sun. All that is coming in from these spots, the great attractor, the Shapley attractor, the galactic center, and it infuses, it goes through the suns, the central sun, and comes down the line till it gets to these smaller solar systems where it infuses that with energy. So that's how I look at it. And it's, we are in a part of space. You got to think about this. This is crazy. Where we are right now in space, we've never been before
Never
because
been here
we're
before.
traveling through space in a spiral going this way, and we have just never been here before. So who knows what we're going towards?
Nobody has a clue where we're
Right.
going. That's what the cool part about it is.
Right. And we know that the great attractor is pulling us that way, pulling the Milky Way. Really, we're just some little teeny dot inside the Milky Way,
Hmm.
so it's fascinating just to think it, but everything always evolves, everything always moves, energy always transforms. And
It never
on
goes
on my
away. It
channel,
only changes form.
yeah, and in my channel, when I put out community posts, I'm usually talking about the energy, vibration, and frequency of and resonance, I'm sorry, of energy, to remind people to stay focused on that. Where is your energy today? Because if we can let Joe Blow throw us off our energy center in any moment, we don't have control of ourselves. And that's what we really need right now. You need to be stable into Mother Earth,
Yeah,
connected to your
grounded and
higher self.
centered.
Yeah, and it's so
Hmm.
important. So I do that every day, and I'm gonna maybe start doing videos about the specific, maybe one video a week. I don't know. I'm redoing my channel a little bit. It's always going to be about being unconditional love, helping Mother Earth raise the vibration by us individually raising our vibration in unconditional love and truth. But
Well, whatever you're going to do is going to be fabulous.
oh,
So it'll be within what is in your heart. So I'm sure we'll all
yeah,
be loving it.
oh, thank you. But yeah, so this is kind of like the new the like if you think about Sagittarius, the new frontier, right?
Okay.
Really, and we're creating it as we go. This isn't the same old tired energies any
That's
longer,
true.
you know. So we're creating that. We're the front line, and it's, we know this much. We want to be creating from our hearts and our soul,
Hmm.
and in truth and integrity. So to me,
Absolutely.
can you imagine and visualize that world with all these beautiful people creating from that space? It's just,
That's why it's so important to be mindful of what you're thinking because we are creating our new reality.
yeah.
Right.
we're creating it every day, but we really are creating a new world, a new reality.
In
And we
every
do need to be mindful and make sure that we're doing it with the highest good of all concerned
Mhm,
from our hearts.
mhm,
Because that's where our true brain is in our heart.
mhm.
This one's just
This one's supposed to just help you do the details.
This
day-to-day
one's
stuff.
connected with source. It has the right answers.
Yeah, this one's
Mm.
connected. This one's mine's way not connected.
It's amazing to be alive during this time and
It really is. It
seeing
really is.
how this all unfolds. But we have today's the full moon in Sagittarius. The 19th of June is the new moon in Gemini. So we're
New
kind
moon
of
in Gemini.
constantly, getting more downloads, getting more information. And then a day or two later, we're going to be in the summer solstice.
Oh, right.
Another portal. You gotta just look at everything like a portal because it really is, and it's been nonstop for quite a while now. 6, 7 years. Well, yeah, even before COVID, it's just been this opening help. But see, spirit is helping us remove what no longer serves to replace it with things to create that new reality, right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
But we couldn't have done it all in just one go. The energy would have been way too much. We would have, none of us would have made it, So the
True.
energy,
Would have all been fried.
so we
Our
got,
brains.
the energy's got to be like in small increments, here.
Mhm.
But I don't know. It's really, really cool. It is. It's up to us to create the world we want to create, the
Yeah.
life we want to create.
Each and every one of us. It all starts with us.
Mhm.
We can't change the world if we haven't changed ourselves. Okay. What do
One
you?
person at a time.
Yeah. Venus goes into Leo on the 5th, but she'll already
Mhm.
take her place in the fixed Grand Cross for the full moon on the 3rd. What does that mean?
We have we've had this running Grand Cross going on, right? Because she's
Mhm.
going 0 degrees. Well, it matters when she's at 29 Cancer too. Pluto's at 0 Aquarius. The south node and the north node are 2 to 3 degrees, so they're in orb. Who am I missing? Venus is going to turn to 0. So that's like, it's like a cross.
Mm-hmm.
Each point in the cross has a 0 to 2 degree orb, and it's making an intense focus on the energy of Pluto, Venus, North Node, South Node. So again, you want to take any of that South Node stuff, what you want to release, let it go. Venus is going into Leo, so she wants to create something new. But it matters to her heart because Leo is the heart. Leo is all about being in your heart, having courage, have your passions, Um, and that North Node is sitting there with Jupiter just telling you can create literally anything you can think of right now if you have the courage to go for it. You got to have that courage to go for it.
Right.
And we all are. I mean, we evolve in every moment of the day, so we're always working our lives, our individual lives, but for all of humanity, that's very powerful because that shows me that the old guard, the old systems are being focused
Broken
on,
down.
removed. Yeah.
Right.
So,
God knows it needs to be.
yeah, it really does. And I'm trying to see what else we got here. Yeah, it's a lot of deep healing with that Chiron in Aries. It's a deep, deep healing of trauma. And then we're gonna have Uranus and Mercury conjunct, meaning together, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know. I don't think that's going to be exact. God knows. I know I have it somewhere, but I don't know the actual date. In a couple of days, it should be exact, because Mercury moves pretty fast. Now Uranus is going slow, right?
Hmm.
Mercury and Uranus, Mercury is our mind, right? Think of Uranus as our higher mind. They kind of have the same energy. So that's going to come in and bring in brilliance. Like, seriously. Like, you're going to come in and your guides, your team is going to be bringing in the information that you never even thought you needed. Like that type of information. It's really going to
Right.
be brilliant.
Okay.
But and then Mercury's going to go real fast by that, right? So this is another thing. This is all within a week. All these things we're talking about. By next year, April, Jupiter and Uranus are going to be conjunct in Taurus, and that's going to be really powerful too. So a lot of
So
things that
Jupiter is still going to be in Taurus in April next year. Wow.
yeah,
It's there for a long time.
a
Yeah.
year. And the thing is, though, by then we'll have more information, because every time these planets go around and they hit another planet or another point, we get more information. Each of
Right.
us do. You might not notice it, but we do. By that time next year, we're going to have a better idea of our bigger projects and our bigger passions, and
Mhm.
that's really going to help bring that into fruition too.
For the collective.
Yeah, well, and individually too, and like you have Taurus ascendant, right? You have a Scorpio descendant. You can create magic with that Taurus ascendant right now, as long as you're
Mhm.
releasing what no longer serves you. But we all can, but
Oh,
you
I'm
have to
working
know
on
where.
it.
I happen to know where yours is, and I know it's
Yes, you
a really
do.
good spot. So it's nice, to have that is support from, because I look at the planets as they're beings, they're higher beings, and
They
they
are.
help us and they guide us.
Think about how much higher beings they are from compared to a little human. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
And they're sentient beings. Mother Earth is a sentient being. We're
Hmm.
part of her.
And we're infinite beings too, and not all of us is here, right? Because we have our higher self is
This is
still
just a little fractal off our higher self.
right.
Mhm.
So
But that's a whole nother show.
yeah,
That's a whole different story.
That's a whole different story, that one.
we kept going out into these concepts, but it's this is how to think though for the future. What if? What does that mean? What ask these big questions.
Yeah. I have a question here that I'd like to know the answer to this. Pluto will be in Aquarius for 20 years as of next year. What does that mean for us?
Okay, so we've been going through this. Pluto was in Capricorn
Uh-huh.
until March 23rd, 2023. And he was in Capricorn for 18 years. And the way I view him in Capricorn was the top 1 to 2%, 3% that we
Okay.
saw
Right.
we saw how things have panned out financially, right?
Hmm.
Pluto demands integrity, and he kept giving Capricorn a chance to, you sure you want to keep continuing like this? He never got it together, let's say.
That's for sure. We're seeing that.
So when he went into Aquarius in March 2023, he's only gotten to 0 degrees. He's still at 0 degree. He's in retrograde now, about to go back into Capricorn, back to like 27 degrees. Okay, so every time he goes back, he's going to expose more of the underbelly of why the financials are the way they are,
I
because
see.
Pluto demands integrity. Aquarius demands integrity. Aquarius is humanitarian based and freedom for all,
Right.
equanimity, equality. And so this back and forth till the end of, I think it's end of 2025, 2024, sorry, beginning of 2025, when Pluto will solidly be in Aquarius going forward but it's going to take 20 years. And in that time period, you can believe all these systems will be restructured. I think we're going to see that, though. I think we're going to see really good evidence of that in the next 2 years, because of there's a lot of Taurus stuff going on, showing the money in the financials. There's a lot of holes in the system. Let's just put it that way. And it would. I don't feel like it's just the bottom's gonna fall out and we're gonna all collapse, because there are systems in place. There
Yeah,
are
I don't get that either. I don't think it's not
Right.
going to collapse the world.
Right. But that old mindset needs to collapse, of just putting the pressure on everybody below the 97%,
Hmm.
putting the pressure on them, making things so expensive, just what's all going on out there. And it's just Aquarius isn't going to tolerate that. So it's going to come back and forth, and every time it goes back to Capricorn, expose exactly
More
where they're
exposure. That's interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, that
It's
is
really-
interesting.
And
Well,
there's
what's the biggest takeaway of this strawberry moon? I'm going to jump back over to the moon for a second.
it's thinking outside the box. Really,
Okay.
you want to. You're creating something that you've never created before, and we as humanity are creating something we've never created before. What does that mean to you? Where's your point of focus that you really are passionate about, and you want to see it evolve into something even more beautiful, and
Mhm.
that's what we have, that ability to do that with that fire sign of Sagittarius. See, I mean, they love to travel, they love higher learning, it's all about educating yourself. And then you got the Jupiter in the mind going, absorbing that, because they're across from each other right now. So
Right.
anything that they're talking to each other about it's new passions, creating something that means something that's meaningful to you.
Right.
Because that's gonna be kind of that's how we started this. How do you follow your heart? And you really got to listen. Our hearts it doesn't talk loud, and the mind and the ego wants to keep throwing it off, but you go in and yes. That's the background of the imagination. But you go into your heart and you know what your biggest wish and your hopes and your dreams are, right? Well, your mind will say, oh, that's stupid, you can't do that, that's stupid. So now you got to go back in and you got to say, I appreciate you, mind and ego, but we're going to try something different now, and work through all that trauma, those disbeliefs and those things. And you get to the point, well, like tonight, tomorrow night, excellent times to
I'm on it.
make that list of things that no longer serve you and burn it. Then come in and make the list of the things that you want to create in your intentions. And don't let that mind take over. Your heart is the ruler of you. The
It
mind
is.
and the ego are supposed to work for you to get to with the heart, to get the heart what the heart wants, what the heart
Yes.
prefers. And you know that by how you feel.
Yes, your
Your
feelings, your
Yeah.
emotions.
And
Very true.
that's all energy. We're all energy. And the energies around us, we create with this energy. We speak it into existence. Spelling is speaking it.
That's
So
true. What you speak is a spell,
yeah,
or write down.
yep.
And we want love and light.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Love and light. Always.
Always. That's the foundation of it. That's how I do it. Everything. That's the foundation of anything I'm creating. It has to be heart centered and soul.
I agree wholeheartedly.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing else works for me anymore.
No.
The way it is. Anybody have any questions today? Moon goes void at 5:15. What does that mean, void?
That means it's out of, or there's nothing around it. So it's
Right.
out there by itself. And that is still going to be in Scorpio, Diana. Has it left Scorpio? Let me look.
Global thinkers, so do not limit yourself. That's right.
Exactly.
Amen. We need
Yeah.
to think globally. We're not just,
Not just here, everywhere.
yeah, we need
Well,
to
you're-
think globally.
Just
Stop
like we
thinking
need-
about just your little areas.
Yeah, it's just like we are citizens of Earth,
Mhm.
not necessarily citizens. We may be citizens of the United States, or we may be citizens of someplace in Europe, but we're all citizens of Earth, and that's how we need to start thinking of ourselves.
Yeah, I agree.
Well,
We need
and
to
what
think
you
about
do
that.
to yourself, though, you do to everything around you.
That's exactly right.
So if you're working on yourself and you're putting that energy and that work into yourself, it does.
It
It
goes
does
out into the
spread out.
universe. It goes out into the grid around the planet.
Yeah.
Whatever you heal is going there. That energy is going up to the grid. So, yeah, it's important.
So Scorpio, the moon right now is at 24 degrees Scorpio, and this is,
We are all connected. Thank you, Laurie.
this is where you want to do the releasing. Scorpio is the best sign to release under. Scorpio is the best sign to research under,
It's
too.
the best sign to be, period.
Yes. Coming from a Scorpio. Yes, it is. It is. It really is. I mean, Scorpios are.
I like that, Tracy. Aquarius, we are one. That's
Yeah.
Aquarius energy. You're right.
Yeah. I have an
Yeah,
Aquarius rising, Tracy. That's how I think too. It took me a long time to get onto this heal yourself first, because I wanted to heal the world first.
Me
and I was
too.
like, I can't. And they kept telling me, you can't do that until you heal yourself.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yep.
So it's actually 4 o'clock. After 4 o'clock, is there anything else that we need to know about the strawberry moon, or what are you doing next?
Oh, Jean, if you want to contact me for readings, just email me and I will get back to you.
Her
And I-
email is in the description of this video.
Thank you,
Okay.
Jean, for reminding me.
Yep. Yeah. And she's even put it up there. Great.
So sweet.
Thank you, Jean.
Thank you.
You know we love you too.
She's so sweet. I
I
love
love
everyone here. Everyone is just just beautiful. I'm so glad
They
our
are.
community is just growing and growing, and all these brilliant minds are creating their reality, their specific passions, and making it into their reality, right? And that spreads out. It's going to spread
Yeah,
out
it's
into the
important.
world.
Would you two ladies like to pull a card for the collective while I hold
Sure.
this little adorable puppy up?
Let me
While
see.
Mommy's busy pulling
Oh
cards.
my God.
Just one for
This
the
is
collective.
Xena with an X. She's 11 weeks old.
If you turn her around, she let you see her collar.
She should be turned around.
See, she does have one.
She has a little red collar with a bow,
A bow and a bell.
a bow and a bell.
Gorgeous.
She just looks black. She just is. Oh my God, she's just the cutest thing.
Yes, she is. She's a little dot. Oh my God.
But very clingy.
No, yeah.
He's 11 weeks old. I would be too.
Yeah. I have a 16-year-old dog that's very clingy.
Yeah, well, my 9-year-old dog is laying right out there
Yeah.
outside. She doesn't like other dogs.
Well,
So
she likes this one well enough, but she's got too much pep.
yeah, she's got
Aw.
too much energy for my old lady.
Okay, the card that
Don't
I
you?
drew was voice.
Nice.
And
your
I think
voice.
what they're trying to say is, please speak your truth. Let
Mhm.
everybody else know about going through the ascension, getting there, because sometimes it might be vitally important that they go ahead and are on the path to ascension,
Mhm.
because everybody will get along so much better and everything will be so much better if we're all on the same
Oh, no,
page.
not the pearls.
And
I
you
love
know
you, but
what,
not the pearls.
Heather, Jupiter rules the truth. That's one, Jupiter is the biggest.
All right,
love
that's cool.
that. I love
Yeah.
All right, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. So
that.
it goes perfectly.
Yes, Gypsy, she is a
Oh,
toy.
what did I get? I got
Hi,
tapping.
Jay.
Hi, Jay. Hi,
I'm sorry.
Gypsy. No, it's okay. They're so
Want me
cute.
to take it back?
Tap into your inner well of strength and draw from your inner reservoir of divine power. You have everything you need within you, awaiting your remembrance, exploration, excavation, and ultimately your mastery. Claim your unique power and gifts in this world and ground into the truth that you are held, supported, and kept safe in the arms of a loving universe.
Oh, I
And
love that.
Right.
yeah, the truth is really important right now. Be who you really are. That anything not real isn't going to last.
Mm-mm.
Right. So
Right?
you really
If
need
it's
to
not
speak your
real,
truth because that is real.
that is
Mhm.
real. That's wonderful. Do you have any other shows on in the next day or two?
Tomorrow night I'm on with Ron Unconditional Love,
Oh,
Diana
good.
Oil
Boy
Painter, and
painter.
and I think Dream Detective Kate and Jay will be on
Oh,
Ron's.
fun.
Yeah.
That's going to be worth watching.
Yeah, we're going to talk about the full moon in Sagittarius, and read
Oh,
cards.
good.
Yeah. So, and it's just beautiful. Thank you for having me on. It's so nice to be able to
We
come.
love having you here.
Yeah, we really look forward to our monthly get together. Even though I see you all the time now, it's just fun to have you on the channel. But thanks so much for being here. Bye, you guys. We'll be back tomorrow at 3 with talking with your spirit guides, right?
Correct.
Something like that. Talking with,
Mhm.
I'm working on it right now. So that should be
Communicating.
fun. Communicating with your spirit guides.
Right.
So that's tomorrow at 3 Eastern. Please join us if you can. And you guys, please subscribe to both of our channels, please, and share if you think anybody would like to hear these things. Please
And a
share
hands
it.
up too.
A thumbs up is always nice. So have a great weekend. Thanks for being here. And Valerie, we love you. And thank you so much for being here. And we'll see you all next time. Let your freak flag fly.
Spread your love.